80s, 90s today, you've got Classic Hits West Coast. Amelia Superstar, 9 minutes after 8. Phil Lemon with you this morning. Peter Dakin is with you after 9 with your first chance to win $23,000 in cash. What would you do with that sort of money? Take a wee holiday maybe? Maybe take the rest of the day off if you win it today. Well, after 9 is your first chance to be the 10th caller and tell us exactly what's in the Classic Hits music mix, thanks to Singapore Airlines. It is my pleasure this morning, and a big thanks to West Street for having John Parsons back in on the coast. John, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you back. What do you think of the new digs?
Fantastic.
Last time you were here, we're in a hotel.
This is really smart.
My first question for you: the biggest beware for parents with internet safety in regards to their children. What is it?
Okay, what I'm seeing at the moment, certainly as an increased risk in my own work, is a social network site called Askfm.
Mm-hmm.
That's ask.fm, and it's got what we call sanctioned anonymity in it. A child can build a social network or a profile within about 60 seconds. It's completely free. And that allows other people to communicate with that child in a very anonymous way, to the point where you can't track back to find out who the people were that spoke to that child. And that's causing a lot of problems. Overseas, girls and boys in America, Ireland and the United Kingdom have committed suicide after being in that site for great lengths of time, where they've been isolated, intimidated and severely bullied by people on the internet.
There's been a lot of talk about that site over the last couple of months, I guess, with the profile of these suicides. So what are you suggesting to parents? Stop the kids using it? What's the story?
I think, research from all around the world tells us one thing, that for the safety and the welfare of a child, it's really important that parents play an active role in their life. And, in the physical world, we can do that. And we're often motivated by things that go wrong. When we see a child in a situation where they might need help, we're able to go over and assist them because we can see it happening. But the internet, there's no light. Typically, there's no sound. So we don't have those visual cues. So what we've got to do is find ways to stay connected with them, be on the internet with them, talk about the people that they're talking to, look at the kinds of pictures that they're sending to their friends and strangers, and look at the quality of the information that they're generating, and decide for themselves, is that consistent with the values of the family?
Okay. Now, as far as, what things that you see, especially with the younger kids, is that mobile phones are smartphones these days, so they can sneak away to their room and be on the internet. Mum and Dad don't know.
Absolutely.
What do we do about that? Okay,
we've got to, everybody in the community, whatever job they do, whether it's police, health, psychologists, students and parents, they all require some form of education around this technology. And when everybody gets the education that they need within the context of their work or their own life, we live in a better place. And what we've got to do for children and students is really teach them to look after themselves. It's called target hardening, actually. We've got to teach them to defend themselves when they go out there. We've still got to be there when we can to help them. But let's think of it like this. If you teach a child to cross a road, they can cross any road in the world once you give them those 3 simple steps to take. Look left, look right, look left again. And they can go anywhere in the world and cross that road with safety, providing they use that education. The internet is no different. If you provide them with a core set of values and codes of conduct and teach them how to make some good choices, they can take that education, that learning, and use any application that they choose to go on. It doesn't matter whether it's Facebook. If you teach a child how to use Facebook on Monday and they change the settings on Thursday, the education you've given them on Monday is out of date. Mm-hmm. So we've got to step back from the internet and provide them with good values around how to use this technology. That's the role of education.
John Parsons, Internet Safety and Risk Assessment Consultant in town. We're going to talk more to John very shortly. In fact, if you have a question for John regarding internet safety for yourself as an adult or for your children at home, you can call me right now on 0800 002527, and we'll have John back after the break. First up, the Gospel Stacey. What is going on? This is Classic Hits West Coast, and my in-studio guest this morning, thanks to West Street, is John Parsons. He's an Internet Safety and Risk Assessment Consultant. There is a public meeting tomorrow night, and it's being held up at Grey High School on High Street from 7 o'clock, and it is a gold coin donation to get in. If you want to bring your loved ones along, that is cool. If you don't have kids, you can still come along, because let's talk about adults' internet safety. We've been talking about kids because that's high-profile stuff, but let's talk about internet scamming.
Okay.
Hit us with that.
Yeah, I often work with adults who've been scammed or conned in some way. And what's really important that we remember here is that we kind of draw a line between us and youth and young people. And we suggest that because they're younger, they're making these mistakes that we're constantly talking about in the community. And that's actually incorrect. Within the context of their own lives, adults make the same mistakes. For every child that I've met that's made a mistake with the way they use this technology or they've become a victim, I've met an adult that's made the same mistake within the context of their own life. And before we go down and talk about this, I just want to give you an idea of some statistics here. Every 12 months in New Zealand, we lose close to $600 million in cash because of cybercrime. $600 million every 12 months. Here's another stat for you. 133,000 victims of cybercrime every 12 months in New Zealand. That's what's reported. Now, those are to adults in most cases. And when you think about a recently widowed grandmother, perhaps she's 2 years, a partner's died 2 years previously. She joins an online dating site. She sees somebody that she would like to talk to and communicate with. She starts communicating with that person. 6 months into this relationship that she's formed with this person, they ask her for money. And it might be $4,000 or $5,000. And the people around that situation think that she's silly because she's given that money up. But she actually believes that she's found another life partner. And she's in this relationship and she gives the money up. And I work with grandparents often, that have recently been widowed in that circumstance, to the point where some of them have almost lost their house because they've been deceived by somebody. A lot of the times the person is from Nigeria, but the profile that they create looks like they're from Europe. And it's happening every day in New Zealand. So we've got to be careful and not see youth as being tricked constantly by this technology. Adults often themselves become victims of this technology as well.
If people want more information or to contact you, what's the best way to get more information, especially if family members are now concerned about what you've just spoken about, and they're seeing their loved one give away money to someone that they've never met, but of course they're in love with them?
Right. Well, first of all, if you think a crime is being committed against another person that you know, it's always a good you have a conversation with the police also. It's really important that if you think somebody's the victim of a crime, and they might refer you to somebody like NetSafe, and you can have a chat with them, or you can indeed contact me through the website, which is s2e.co.nz. But ultimately, what you've got to do is really get some education for that person. It can be very difficult. I can tell you that I've met many family members that have become distraught because they know that their grandparent is refusing to listen to them, and every month their bank account is bleeding money basically to this criminal. Even banks have been involved. And I want to just give you this as an example of how this information gets spread out. If you think of a grandmother that has formed a relationship with a cyber criminal over 12 months, she will give up the names of her grandchildren. She'll give this person pictures of the grandchildren. When I go to work with that person and they finally realize that they are a victim, we have to take down every social network that family has got. We take away the phones, the mobile phones, and we give them new phone numbers, new social networks, because those criminals will attempt to contact that family perhaps 6 or 12 months down the track. Often they go onto what we call a suckers list, where all of their information is sold to other criminals, so these other criminals can try to recontact them and take money from them again. It's a big issue, but we can deal with it through workshops and raising awareness within the community.
Your opportunity to hear John speak tomorrow night for just a gold coin entry, and this is at the Greymouth High School in High Street. Big thanks to West Street for having John. Look, John, thank you very much. Once again, I've learned lots by having you here, and we look forward to having you back on the coast again soon.
Thank you very much.
John Parsons with us this morning here at Classic Hits. We've got a great opportunity for you coming